This is the cheapest running Vauxhall Astra in the country. And even though it has got a few battle scars all over it, the engine runs and the car does drive. And there's a few reasons as to why this car was the cheapest Astra in the country. And that's because when I first bought this car, it's safe to say I bought a few issues along with it. The first was the engine light, which luckily only turned out to be an O2 sensor, so that was a quick repair. Next, the car had a suspected blown head gasket, which we soon realised was false, and the gunk under the oil cap was simply condensation from the car just doing short journeys, so that was nothing to worry about. After that, I decided to drive the car for the very first time, and it didn't actually go too bad. I took it for an MOT and I was actually quite surprised. Now, you're probably wondering whether it's passed or failed, and I can confirm it has failed. Even though it did fail, it only needed a few minor things to actually get it an MOT. One of them being the rear axle bush and the other being a fault with the ABS pump, so I wasn't giving up on the car just yet. So I removed the ABS pump and took it to a place called ECU Testing, who repaired it. After that, I fitted the ABS pump back on the car. Take two. Fingers crossed, come on. And it was easy as that. It was all fixed and it passed its MOT. The only problem now was after driving it for a bit, I noticed that there was a horrible oil smell, which turned out to be an oil leak coming from the rocker cover gasket. So, of course, I replaced the gasket, and whilst the cover was off, I checked the timing chain and soon realised that that was in desperate need of a change. Yet another issue. You can pretty much see that that chain isn't as tight as I hoped. I guess what should I expect when I'm buying a car for only £150? But even though I'd never done a timing chain before, I thought I'd give it a go with little to nothing to lose. We've got the new oil, we've got the new filter, we've got the timing chain kit. Let's crack on. I managed to get the timing chain done and even put a new water pump on, and guess what? That wasn't the last of my issues. The horrible noise that I thought was the timing chain turned out to be a leaking exhaust manifold. So once again, I got the tools out, replaced the gasket, and that was finally all the issues sorted on my Astra. Oh my god! Oh my god, it's not doing it! Oh my god! Yes! We've done it. And after all that, I think it would be criminal if we didn't start modifying this car. Although it isn't the fastest car in the world, it's a little 1.4 engine with only 90 horsepower. I do think the look of these cars do look really nice. Especially from this angle here, I just think they're such a good all-round little daily car. There's plenty of space in them, they look quite good. This car just deserves some proper mods. And I think a good place to start is with a modification that we can literally do right now. And that is wind deflectors. Easy as that. And there we go, 2 wind deflectors installed, easy as that, literally at the side of the road. These work really well if you're like on a motorway trip and your car may fog up and you just need to get some air through the car, or in summer if you want the window down a little bit but don't want all that horrible wind noise. These are an amazing, well, modification really. The weather really isn't on my side right now, but let's head back to the driveway and get some more modifications done on this Astra. Now, there's one thing I always say when it comes to modifying a car, and that is no matter what you do to the outside, when you're sat in the car, there's only 3 things that you actually touch. Number 1 is the seats. No matter what, you're going to be sat in the driver's seat when you're driving the car. Number 2 is the gear knob. You obviously need to use the gear knob to change gear, so you're going to be touching that as well. And last but not least is the steering wheel. And to be honest, although the steering wheel isn't too bad, I think we can upgrade it. And of course, there's only one place to go when you're trying to mod a car on a budget, and that's Facebook Marketplace. And it wasn't long till I found something I'm gonna buy. Literally 20 minutes ago, this got uploaded to Facebook Marketplace. It is a really good conditioned Astra VXR steering wheel and I think it's going to look absolutely amazing in my Astra. So you know what? Let's go get it. And that is exactly what I did. When I find a bargain, I just want to impulsively go and buy it. So we jumped in the car, and luckily this part wasn't actually that far away. About 40 minutes later, we arrived and secured the VXR steering wheel. And just like that, we are back with, well, I thought this was an Astra VXR steering wheel. It's actually a Corsa VXR. And to be fair, I think this is going to look really, really good inside the car. I think you do have to do a little bit of swapping and changing with the wiring harness in these, but luckily the controls are literally all the same. So I think all we've got to do is take the wiring harness out of this steering wheel, put it into that steering wheel, replace the wheel, and we should be good to go. But first thing, let me take the battery off. So after unplugging the battery, it was time to get the old wheel off. They're a little bit fiddly on these cars. You have to kind of get a weird size screwdriver down in each side of the hole behind the steering wheel to pop the airbag out. Once I've done that, I can go ahead and unplug the airbag from the wiring harness. Then it's a matter of undoing the hub nut, hitting the back of the steering wheel just to break it free, and then you can go ahead and pull it straight off. Just make sure that you keep the nut on the wheel, just so you don't end up smashing yourself right off the face with a steering wheel. And just like that, the steering wheel comes off. Now I've just got to figure out how I swap it to the other one. As far as I know, I've got to apparently take this whole wiring loom, horn buttons, everything, out of this original Astra steering wheel and swap them over to this one. Now, so as you can see, if we're comparing the two wheels, you can see that this has got the like black tab. This has got the same black plug, but it's also got this white one. So what we need to do is take all this loom out, swap it over, and hopefully everything should all work. The only difference I'm really seeing is that on the Corsa airbag, there's two kind of connectors for the airbag, whereas on this original Astra there's only one, which is a little bit worrying. I don't really want to set the airbag off, but I guess we've kind of got no option. I mean, if that's all it needs is just to be plugged into there, then that will work, but I don't know what the yellow one's actually for, because that just plugs literally straight in there. But I'll swap these all around and we'll just see how we go. So while I go ahead and swap these wiring harnesses round on the steering wheels, I just want to ask you guys a massive favour. I noticed that 57% of you that are watching these videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel. It is completely free to do so, and it helps me out massively. I'm doing my best to hit 100,000 subscribers before the end of this year. So if you could hit that subscribe button down below, that would be massively appreciated. Obviously, the last two kind of things we've got to do are the horn, and on the VXR airbag, you can see there's like these prongs up here. I think one of them goes on the top and one of them goes on the bottom. If you put them on both on the top, then the horn will stay on. If you put them both on the bottom, the horn will stay on. So one's got to go to the top, one's got to go to the bottom, and then I think that should be the wheel done. So if I clip these, I don't know what is going to happen with this airbag because we've only got one connector for it, but if it's as simple as this, then happy days. But something is telling me that it isn't going to be. But I guess all we do now is put the wheel on and see what happens. Now, I am going to turn the battery on and leave the camera, well, I'm going to take my camera out because I don't know if this is just going to blow up. I've got to be honest, it's very likely that it could. I should probably do some research before I just turn the key. So either way, the wheel looks amazing on the car. I don't know whether this is going to work though, so let me try and find out before it's too late. Well, all I've got to do now is hope and pray that this airbag doesn't blow up in my face. I'm really hoping that once we plug it in, the airbag doesn't blow up and all the controls still work. Are we good? Oh my god. Are we good? Oh my god, the ignition's on and the airbag hasn't took my jawline completely off. We might be okay, eh? First thing I want to know is if the controls work, but I don't trust sitting in front of the airbag, to be fair. Well, for once, it turns out that everything actually works. The airbag didn't blow up and all the controls on the steering wheel are still functional. For once, something went perfectly well and it actually turned out really nice. And that is one Corsa VXR wheel installed. And the best part about it, there is no lights on the dashboard. The horn does work and there's no faults. Job well done. Let's go test it out. And if there's one thing I can vouch for, that is that the Corsa VXRs have an amazing steering wheel and amazing seats, and this doesn't disappoint. Well, I 100% stand by what I say. A steering wheel is one of the best things that you can do on a car. But I guess now we've put a VXR wheel in here, we should at least try and make it sound like a VXR. I think you know where I'm going with this one. Of course, it's Halfords. If there's one place that everyone used to go back in the day to modify their car, it was here. And I think so far, every Vauxhall that I've had on this channel, I've gone to Halfords and bought one specific modification for them.
Oh dear.
For those that guessed it correctly, it's the iconic cone air filter from Halfords. For some reason, this ended up being my most viewed video installing one of these to my old Corsa D, so you already know we've got to pick one up for the Astra. Let's go back and let's get it installed. So for those that don't know, this is the exact same engine that was in my Corsa. It's the Z14 XEP engine. I think they've got about 90 horsepower. And the air filter we got for that was one of them kind of like mesh, cotton-ish kind of air filters. And when I took that out and we tested it, for those that watched the video, you can see that it didn't really make that much of a difference. Whereas this one is like a foam air filter, so it should get in twice as much air and make twice as much noise, I'm hoping. Either way, let's get it on. It's crazy to me that back in the day I'd have made one entire video just installing this cone air filter. It's crazy to see how far we've come, and I can only thank you guys for sticking around and supporting what I do. Getting this air filter on is really simple. You just take the OEM box off, use the spacers that were provided with the air filter and put the new cone one on. Well, good news once again, we've got no engine lights on the dashboard, obviously because we've not taken out that MAF sensor. Let's just see how this sounds. Fingers crossed it actually sounds alright, because I know it sounded pretty cool on my Vauxhall Corsa when I first ever started this channel, so hopefully this one sounds good on this engine. It actually doesn't sound too bad, but I guess we're not going to know what it fully sounds like until we drive it, so I think we should take it for a quick drive. Okay, the air filter is all installed, is all on. We've still got no lights on the dash, even though I am driving now. I guess all that's left to do, we're going to do it in second, is see what it sounds like. 3, 2, 1. It actually, you can actually hear an intake noise. Now it's nothing like major, but there's 100% a difference from stock to having this air filter on. Like, I don't know if you can hear it through the camera. We'll try third again. It's got like a throaty kind of intake-ish noise. We'll try second gear again. Yeah, you can definitely hear the engine a lot more. I mean, don't get me wrong, the car is slow, but I don't know, with this VXR wheel, with that little bit of intake noise, it just makes it that little bit more kind of entertaining to drive. I mean, I drive this literally every day, and it, like I say, it just makes it that little bit more fun, just makes you smile a little bit. Oh yeah, absolute. Oh my god, I mean, it's pretty much a VXR, isn't it? Right, that has definitely made an improvement. I can't even deny that that has made an actual difference. But we're not done just yet. We're going to head back to the driveway, and I think we've got one more modification. In fact, we've got one more modification to do before we end this video. And of course, we couldn't finish this video without upgrading the indicator bulbs. These are just a must-have, I think, on any Vauxhall. They're just from eBay, they're so cheap, and these ones are also dynamic. And a bonus, they literally take 2 seconds to change. I don't even think you need any tools for this job. You can literally pull your old ones out with your hand, unclip them, take the bulb out. These plug in to where your old bulb will go. Check if they work, which they do. And literally just put them back in place. Easy as that. And that is literally how easy it is to change your like side repeater indicator things, and they're just a little mod that looks good to do for cheap. Now, it goes without saying, I have got a whole bunch of good things planned for this Vauxhall Astra, but good things take time. So that is going to do it for this video. If you have enjoyed this and you do like the mods that we've done so far, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.
You wear a hat they call dad. Me, I'm the dad in a hat. You just like clubbing and clothes. Me, I like afternoon naps. 3 happy meals for the road. My oldest like counting racks. My middle one, she's in a dirt bike. My youngest is just like a mom.